So perfect. Then I welcome everyone to the second webinar. We have a double webinar this time. So we start now with the duo rules. And in an hour, we will have another webinar about the Jiu-Jitsu rules. So we will make 2 recordings of that. But if you are now live here, we will have a second recording then. Yeah, I will not waste your time, but I give directly the word to Brigitte Dalsgaard and Fabio Carril that will introduce us into the new duo test rules.
Thank you very much, Claudia. And first of all, welcome to you all. It's amazing to see we passed 100 participants. I think it shows a great interest in duo, and it's a good start. Today, I have with me Fabio. You want to say hi?
Hi, all. Nice to see you guys here. As Brigitte said, yeah, it's a different system we are proposing here for test, and a pleasure to have you all.
Yes. Fabio and I have been working along with Dimitri as well. Dimitri says hi, but he had to go to work today. But we have been working hard to get these test rules finished so we can start testing. And that's what this seminar is about. It's about the presentation of the test rules. So if you guys are ready, let's start. So, good. First of all, the program for today, it's mainly a presentation both of the plan, how we're going to do this, and also about the principles of the new test rules and how to apply them. And then, of course, you have, as Claudia said, at the last 15 minutes, you have time for questions. We have to be pretty precise on time today because Ju-Jitsu has the same channel just as we finish. So, but you're welcome to write in the chat, and we'll keep an eye on it. And if not before, then we'll answer the questions at the end of this. And if you didn't notice already, please be aware that this seminar has been recorded. First of all, there was a little bit of a misunderstanding at the beginning of this process because the test rules, some thought that they were actually the rules from the 1st of January. To make clear, these rules that we have now, they're very different, but they're test rules. So these are the rules that we're going to use in test events and special tests during the spring, but not on all the big competitions. It depends on the organizers whether or not they want to do it as a test event or as an event with the old rules. Like, for instance, the European Youth in France will be conducted by the old rules, just to clear out any misunderstandings. But this webinar is to give you all a better understanding of these test rules that we're going to use in the spring. So please note that this webinar is it's not to discuss new suggestions for these test rules because they are as they are now. We have to test them first. But we will learn a lot from the tests, and we will need your suggestions after the tests. We will advise you to if you're not already in, then join the Do working group on the WhatsApp, because that's where we see all the suggestions, or most of the suggestions. So if you post your suggestions there, we will see them, we will discuss them, and after the test events, we will have a meeting there as well to discuss some of the most relevant suggestions. Just a second. Good. And for the Do timeline. Yes, Fabio?
Claudia, I think, is there a limit to 100 persons, the webinar? I think Yanis and Huda are asking to join.
Oh, I'm not sure. Claudia would be able to ask that. Okay, yes,
okay.
We seem to have a max of 100.
Okay, this I didn't know. No, then unfortunately they have to wait until someone is dropping out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Interesting. But again, this webinar will be
recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, it is recorded. So.
Okay.
Okay. I will continue with the do timeline. Right now, we are at the beginning of this timeline. A lot have happened before, but just have to mute this. I see people are writing me to try to get in as well.
Yes.
Okay, but we have the webinar right now at the beginning of this timeline. As I mentioned before, we have a test event, a real tryout for the test rules at the European Cup in Belgium. It's going to be, the event is going to be by the old rules, but after the event, we will have a test event where we really need your backup to join this test event, both for you to learn, but also for us to learn, and together we can learn what works and what doesn't work with these rules, so we can improve them again. So the first event here is the the event in Belgium. There will also be a referee course. I will get into details later, but it's important if you want to judge in this new system and want to be a part of the test, that you have this referee course, because it's a whole different way or a new way to judge. After this and after other events like the Greek nationals, it's going to be conducted by the new rules. So we're also going to learn a lot from that. So after this, we have the evaluation, and we need feedback both from all the participants, and also we take all the notes we can in the meantime to learn from these events. There will be more test events during the spring. They are still to be confirmed which event these are. Good. And to the new rules, they were based on some wishes to improve the duo rules. There were some issues that needed improvement. Like Claudia just said to me, I think 8% of our athletes are duo fighters or duo athletes. We need that to be even more, because when we join multi-events or multi-sport events, we like duo also to be a part of this. And for this, we need more couples to perform duo. So there are some issues we have to work with. And one of these issues is that if the duo couples show the same again and again, because it's the same techniques they have, then it's not so interesting for the referees. It's not so interesting for the audience. So it would make it more attractive if it's the different techniques. So in order to make this happen, one of the changes is to make a draw in advance. I'll get into the details about this later, but a draw of which attacks to show, so the athletes or the couples know in advance. Another way is we need to attract more couples, is to perform this, the competitions in 3 divisions. I'll get into details with that later as well. Good. There's been some talk about transparency in scoring, especially coaches don't always know why did my couple get this score or this score. So a little more transparency in why the scores are actually giving. So we made there was a whole new scoring procedure. Also, many referees don't like the idea of looking for mistakes, because you see a duo couple performing really nice stuff, but we as referees have to sit and watch for mistakes. We would rather look for all the nice details, all the really good stuff. So this time, finally, the scoring procedure is changed, so the referees look for the good stuff instead of looking for mistakes and counting down on the score. There is also an issue for the organizers about how long it takes to perform the duo part of it. So there's been a new course of the match. How we do it, we perform 1 round at the time with 3 attacks. But again, I go into details with this later. First of all, the draw. The draw for this test, Spring has already been made. It has been published, and it's in the test rules. The rules have been published in the WhatsApp group as well, and many other places, the test rules. And the draw are in, or it's in these rules, so you can see it. It's also the one we have here for the adults, so U21 and U18. I will not go into details, but in the first round, the couple will know already now that for the test event, we're going to show first, we're going to show A4, then B4, then C3. In the next round, we're going to show blah, blah, blah. So you see, they know in advance what they're going to show for each round. The competition will be held in 3 divisions, also to attract more couples. We have the highest division is the world division. All couples will start entering in this world division. Depending on their result, they will either move to the advanced division or further on the novice division, or they will stay and compete in the world division. I'll explain this later. At the event, all couples will be divided into 4 groups. Each of these groups will be placed in this kind of flowchart I will show you in just a minute. But each of these groups will compete at the time. It's possible to make seedings as well in this system. So we can both do it with or without, depending on which competition we're talking about. And this is the flowchart. At the first glance, it may seem complicated, but I'll take you through it to explain the general ideas. At the beginning, let's see if you can see up from the top, you have the groups from before. They all enter the world division in round 1. And maybe Fabio, would you like to explain it actually?
Okay, yes. So as Brigitte was saying, all the groups, they start in the world division, the round 1. And out of that group, they perform, they make the presentations, and they get the score. And if we have enough couples for the all rounds, the 4 first or the higher scores of each group will proceed to the round 2 of the same division. All the rest, they will be relegated to the advanced division. It's like the repêchage division, okay? So they will be participating in the first round of the advanced division. And this proceed keeps on and on until the 3rd round. The 3rd round, the losers, the one who gets the lowest scores on the world division, will also be relegated for the advanced division, and the advanced division, who also get the lower scores on the same round, will also be relegated for the 3rd round of the novice division. Now the relegation stops here because the round 4 is the semifinals and round 5 is the finals. So when we get to the round 4, we only get 4 participants. And this group, the 2 that are highest scores, will dispute the final and will go for the 1st and 2nd place. And the lowest scores on the 4 round will be the 3rd places, the 2 3rd places. And this will go on for all the 3 divisions. So actually, we will have 1st, 2nd, and 2 3rd places for the world division, for the advanced division, and for the novice division. So I congratulated Birgit. I think this is a very nice summary. It may look a little complicated in the beginning, but this is a way that the participants can get most fights, most experiences. And if they happen to match a group with world champions and they are a novice team, they will have a chance in the lower divisions to compete with the same level teams and couples. That was the point. Brigitte.
Thank you, Fabio. I'm working with 2 screens, so I just have to find this one. Yeah. Just have to get back to this one. Yes, here we go. Okay, so as Fabio explained, it's a motivation to attract more couples because they actually have a chance, even though they are competing up against the best, they still have a chance to come home with a medal, but from one of the other divisions. So we hope this can attract more couples. You want to put some words on this one as well, Fabio? I'll just.
Yeah, I can actually explain you guys the big picture, so to speak. Just a second. I will stop with your sharing and go to mine, okay?
Okay, I'll just stop this one.
Okay, so are you guys watching the Excel?
Yes.
So this is the big picture. The world division, it's the round and the division which all the players will begin with. It's prepared to up to how many couples will register. So in here we can see in the group A1 draw, C1, B1, D1, we have spots for the ranking list. In the group A, the ranking list number 1, number 8. In the group B, ranking list number 2, number 6. Group C, 4 and 5. Group D, 2 and 7. So let's say we have the first round. Group A, the teams will do all the presentations. They will get the points and they will have a classification. And this goes for the 4 groups. So the 4 first or the 4 highest scores of each group will proceed to the second round of the World Division. You have it here, how it will be placed. The winners of each group, second, third, and fourth. And the same procedure goes to the third round. The 2 best scores of each group of the second round, they would go, this is actually A. They will proceed for the third round, okay? So now we know what happens if you get the highest scores in the group up to the third round. Now what happens if you get the lowest scores? Well, you'll be relegated for the next division. And the next division, here's the thing. First round will be the couples that get the lowest score from the first round World Division. So the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th place from the previous division. And the same procedure. First 4 will move for the second round of the division, and the lowest will go for the novice division. And what's different here? Here we will also have the relegated from the second round on the World Division. You can see advanced division places 1 and 2. Yes, the 2 best from the first round of advanced division will proceed for the second round. So we will have the first and second places of each group of the first round, and we will have the third and fourth of the World Division that were relegated on the second round. Okay? Same thing goes for the third round. We will have the winners of the second round, first and second of each group, and the relegated from the third round from the World Division. You can find the spots here, the third and fourth from the third round World Division. And from here on, no more relegation, because it's the semifinals and the finals from the advanced division. And like so, same will happen in the novice division. Because there was a shortage, so many couples proceeded already, we only have two groups, Group A and Group B. And the procedure maintains the same. The 4 highest scores will go for the next round and also will join the relegated from the advanced division. And the third round stays the same, and the same for the semifinals and finals on the novice division. Therefore, these will probably make like 12 medals, 4 from each division. As Brigitte just said, this aims to bring out more dual participants and fights. So, Brigitte.
Yes, thank you, Fabio. I will just be sharing my screen again. So you should be seeing this slide again. And I noticed some comments in the chat as well. Thank you, Michelle. We have noticed this, and that's one of the things we're going to discuss about the medals after the test. So good. And this slide, it actually, the general idea about this is that if there are a lot of couples at the competition, we use this structure and start at the first round. But if we have competition where there are not so many participants yet, then it doesn't make sense to start from round number 1. But depending on how many couples we have, they're going to start later, like in the second round or in the third round, or even if we only have a few, they're going to go straight to the finals. In case we have a situation where we don't have so many couples and they start competing in round number 3, we will use the draw from round number 3 and not from the beginning of. Good. And to make a little more clear what's new in this course of the match, which is one of the things that were changed, we made these slides. And what's important is actually that there are many new and very new things, but there are also some important things that stays the same. For instance, we have the same attacks. We have 3 series for attacks as we do now. We have the same criteria of judging. We just judge in another way. And we have the same challenge procedure, but I'll get into that soon. What we have in the course of the match, new things, is like you only have 1 couple at the time, and the couples know the attacks from before the event, and so on. I'll get into details with this in just a second. If we look for the referees, before it was more focused on the athletes and the coaches, but from the referee side of point of view, the course of the match is different. We don't have 2 couples, but we just have 1 couple. We have 3 referees. We have the new scoring procedure, as I told before, where we sort of do the opposite of what we're used to do. We are well, right now we start with the same team for the whole group. Like we said before, we split all the couples into 4 groups, and when we have 1 group at the time performing 1 series, we, as far as possible, will use the same group of referees to make sure that it's an even competition. Another thing that's brand new for the referees is that we're not gonna, hold up the scores anymore. we're going to do the scoring on paper or tablet. But right now, we don't have the system for a tablet, but that's in the future, we hope. And again, what's the same? It's the same for both coaches and athletes, same attacks and so on. But to go into the little details about the course of the match, how we actually do it. You start with one couple at a time, coming in from each side, making the bow as we normally do. So we don't compare the two couples at a time. We have the whole group to score. Each couple will show 3 attacks per round. So first, when the couple come in and have made the bow, the mat referee will tell them to do the one from the draw in the order first A, B, and then C. So they know the attack in advance, and they know the order of the attack in advance. So they can prepare this. Then after these 3 attacks, they actually finish. But before we go so far, after each attack, the jury will score. So they will wait just a little while, maybe 10 seconds. At the beginning, it may take a little longer. But as soon as the referee says A2, the couple performs A2. Then when the jury has watched this, they will do the scoring in the 4 parts, as I will explain later. As soon as this is done, the referee will say B4, and they will do B4 until they made all 3 for this round. So between the attacks, the couple will stay standing. They're not going to kneel down or anything and lose focus. They're going to stay standing. They can communicate with each other in a low voice. The coach can coach them in this small break, but they cannot not talk to the coach because they're still on the mat. Before mat referee starts with the next attack, he or she will just check with the jury just to make sure they made the scoring. If they're done, that's the same procedure as today, actually, more or less. As soon as they're done, mat referee will announce the next technique. As today, the mat referee will check for a wrong attack. And if there is a wrong attack, then he or she will signal that it is a wrong attack. It's important because right now the challenge procedure is pretty much on this wrong attack. So the challenge procedure. I'll start with saying that the challenge procedure right now is like this, but it will be changed. It's one of the things we have on the top of our lists of things we need to improve. But right now we don't have the systems to do it. And in the sporting code right now, it says that in duo, the coach can only challenge a wrong attack. So as it is now in the test rules, after the group has finished, then the scores will be announced. And then the coach has a small amount of time to look at the scores and then to challenge if he or she thinks there has been a wrong attack that was not signaled or a wrong indication of wrong attack that was not actually right. So in case there is something about a wrong attack, the coach can make a challenge. And it's the same way as we do it today. In this test period, we made this procedure that if the couple had already moved on, because we know the scores by now, if the couple has already moved on in the same division, then there's no need to check videos or anything to see if there's a wrong attack, because they already moved on. It's not going to change anything. So we're going to save some time there. It doesn't make any difference. And just in case the mat referee doesn't see the wrong attack, doesn't signal it, but the jury has still taken into account that this was a wrong attack, then even though the coach is challenging, of course, this challenge will be accepted because it was actually right, even though the match referee didn't signal, but the jury did take it into account. Now, to the more tricky part, for the referees at least. We have a new scoring procedure. As I said before, we look for the good things instead of looking at mistakes. And we like more transparency in this scoring. We like it to have more details. In order to do this, we need to score each attack, and we will score it in 4 parts, plus 2 extra. So for each attack, the referee will have to consider, well, the first part of the attack, how was that? Boom, boom. On a scale from 0 to 3, how many points? The first defense on a scale, where do we want? Maybe that's a 2. The throw or the takedown, how do we score that? Or maybe that was a 3, and the part closing, and so on. For the Series C, we have the weapon control. Of course, that's still a judging criteria. And overall, when all 3 attacks have been shown, the referee will have to make a score on the variety. So this way, the referee is going to score into more details, and it should be more transparent for the coaches to see why did they actually get the score that they got. It's not just one score for 3 attacks. It's actually, well, you have here in 4 parts, and it's for each attack. But again, for referees, this is a major change. So please come to the referee courses and the test events to try this out, because we need to practice. We need to make sure we do this right. So what are we looking for as referees? As before, here to the left, you see the parts that we have to score: the attack, the first defense, the takedown, closing, weapon control for Series C, and variety. It's a little bit depending on which series we're in, what we're looking for, but in general, of course, we use the judging criteria that we're used to using, but we have to be more precise because, well, we have sort of like all the judging criteria mixed into this one, but you don't use all the criteria on, like, say, the attack or the part 3, the takedown. To explain it a little more, I think I'll take the next slide, actually. There is a progression in the score. So the better it is, for instance, let's take the example of part 3, where we're scoring the throw or the takedown. As normally, when we score this part, or look at this part, we look for jumping, for flow, for balance, in the rules now, we have, like this one, examples of how to score this part 3, this attack or takedown part of the attack. So, for instance, if Uke jumps or falls without any effort at all, it doesn't give any points in this part. Then if it's Uke may still be jumping, but it's a bit better, then you have 1 point. So it's like progression. The better it is, the more points you get, up to 3 points. So a perfect throw or takedown will give 3 points. It's important to say that this is in the rules, in the test rules, but it's a guide. Because like here we say 2 points if it's good throw or takedown, but it's in 2 stages. You can still have situations where it's still a really bad throw or takedown. Even though Uke is not jumping, it can still be really bad. So you, as a referee, you still have to use the guide to see is it a 0, 1, 2, or 3 point, this part. So don't take every word for like it's only this situation, but use it as a guide. In the rules, we have these guides for all the parts. If I just go one step back. For all the parts, like for the attacks, for the first defense, for the throw, or takedown, closing, and so on. We have suggestions for how to consider if it's a 0 point, a 1 point, or a 2 point. And this is the part that we're going to work the most with on the referee courses, because we have to train this. We have to train our skills to see all these details and to score them in these parts. So again, please join the referee courses to practice this and to learn this. Good. Another thing that's different for the referees is that we're gonna do the scoring on the paper, or hopefully in the future on an electronic scoreboard, but we're not quite there yet. But at least we have a version for the paper, because on some competitions, there may not be electronic scoreboards like Padlets or tablets. So this system has to work with scoring on paper as well. So this is how it's going to be for the referees. We're going to have this paper in front of us. And for the couple one, we can score, maybe it's a bit small, but I hope you get the idea that we score each couple in all 4 parts, in the first technique, in the next, or the first attack and the next attack, and finally attack number C. And then when we've done all this, we have the score for the weapon control and for the variety. So when the whole round for this couple has finished, we double check and say, yes, this was it, and this, blah, blah. And then we have the final score for this couple. Then the couple is ready to go out again, and the next couple can start. So this is the way we're gonna start out with testing in Belgium with this score paper. Actually, this is made for Belgium. So these are the attacks we're gonna use there. It's important to, again, to practice this, but one of the issues that could be for a referee is that we really have to be sharp. Like in fighting, it's judging like this. So we really have to focus on the details and watch the whole attack being performed by the couple. So when they're performing the couple, this attack, we should not, as referees, start looking down and just writing, oh, this was the attack, it's a 2, and then looking like this up and down, because we will miss some details. So as long as the attack is being performed, look and focus on the attack. After the attack is finished and the couple is standing, then we can look down and score. And as soon as we scored, we look up again, and then the mat referee knows and can signal the next attack. This procedure, of course, in the test events is going to take a little more time because we have to get used to this. But eventually, it should be, as long as we're used to this way of scoring, it should be quite a short time the couple is actually standing, waiting for the next attack. Yes. Youth rules. As normally for JJIF, there are rules for only U16 and U14. In the rules, we made some suggestions for the younger categories as well, but again, it's only suggestions. But these rules I put here, they're for U16 and U14. So for these 2 groups, they're going to present 3 attacks. But since they don't do the weapon series C, they're going to do the first drawn attacks from Series A and the first from Series B. In the next round, they're going to do the next drawn attack from Series A and the next 2 from Series B, and so on. So it's going to be the same draw again. So youth doesn't need a separate draw. It's the same draw. In the rules, the test rules, you will also see the draw for the youth categories. And just before finishing the slides and opening up for questions, made this with the next steps. Now we have the new test rules. There are already many suggestions for how to improve them, but we have to test, we have to start working with them to really get to know them and to know what we need to change and what can stay and what can be changed a bit and so on. So next step is to test these rules in Belgium and also in Greece. And to begin with, we're going to learn a lot from that. We're going to have evaluations on this. And we really need feedback from all participants, especially in Belgium, where we have this first tryout. So both from the athletes, from the referees, from the coaches, from the organizers, we need feedback on this test. We also, we have a very good, very big dual working group on WhatsApp. This is where we recommend you to post all your suggestions, because after these test events, we're also going to make a Zoom meeting to discuss some of these suggestions and hear some input about them. We're not going to make decisions in this group because we're too many, but we need the input from all of you guys. After this, we have some new ideas because we learn a lot from the test events, and we're gonna, so we have some more things we can test at the next test events that are still to be confirmed when they are. Just to give you a small overview of what we already have on our list to discuss after the test events is, like I said, the challenge procedure, maybe the number of attacks per round. Right now it's 3 attacks. Should it be more? Should it not be? There was an interesting suggestion in the dual working group as well, to add a criteria for technical difficulty. We're going to discuss the pros and cons for that, and so on. We have several things and many things to discuss after the test events. So please join the test events and let us learn together what we can do to improve these. So first of all, thank you for listening. You couldn't interfere since you were all muted, but still, I hope if you have questions, now's the time.
So thank you very much. I would suggest for people that have questions just to raise their hands, because then we can unmute them and then you can ask the question. There is an interesting question from Patrick. Is it clear which referee will give which points? Maybe I start with this and then see who else wants to ask.
Well, I can answer this. Right now, we only have the papers. And one of the things we're going to find a solution for is when can the coach actually see the score? Because if the coach is going to have a chance to challenge, they need to see the score. So that's one of the things we're going to find a better solution for than what we have now in the test rules. I hope that was answered. And I see a hand. I don't know the order of the hands, but Michael, please unmute yourself if you can.
Again, maybe we can wait.
Yeah, now I am. Okay.
Good.
Yes, maybe I just don't understand, because, okay, it's all new for everybody, so also for me. To have three, let's say, divisions on itself is not a bad thing, I think. But if I telegraph it for a World Championships come in 12 couples. You have 4 groups, let's say, and the ones who lose the first round, they go in a separate one. They still can get a medal. They still can get a gold medal, but not more in the world group. That's correct, how I understand.
Yes, that's correct.
But you know,
it's not going to be a gold medal as like a world champion medal in the other divisions. But this is one of the points we're going to discuss more, because it's
yes,
we
because
already discussed it, but we didn't.
if you're going to look for the Jiu-Jitsu fighters last year, the Niwaza, it was at the World Championships, 42 competitors in one category. If they lose the first round, they have a repassage, they can get a bronze medal, and that's it, you know? So in that way, I don't, where you want to go. If you want to have 3 levels, you must do the qualifications before the World Championships, and then you fight in this level, and you can maybe, how you say, what Allard also was written, then you can go maybe up next year in the next level, you know, but at one big event to have for the same category 3 medals, for me, it's still not clear, and it's a little bit,
maybe
strange,
the overall,
let's say like that.
The overall idea is actually that it's not one category, but 3 in 1. That's maybe a bit easier to understand like this. So it's not, the idea is to have actually 3 different categories starting all together in one. But yeah, it's something also, like I said, we have to see how this works. And the idea is, of course, not to start with 12 couples, but more with 40, because this is the main reason for the whole new structuring of the duo system. If we don't have more couples in, duo will die. So we really need to get more couples in. And then the system is allowing to run with this large amount of couples.